Welcome back to Chicks in Twilight. This is the Rewatch show where we talk about all the Twilight movies. We are on the fourth movie, Breaking Dawn Part 1. Hopefully everyone has been following along. The merch is still on sale. Hopefully you guys, relate to what we're saying, or maybe you have an opposite take on what we've been saying about the movies. I'm ready to talk about this one.
Yeah.
I hate it so much, but I'm very excited to hear everybody's notes.
I was also thinking, too, about everything we've said for these past movies, and we're all very aligned in our, werewolves over vampires vibe, I feel like. And, I was thinking, damn, sorry to all the Team Edward people out there that were so, there's no one's fighting for Edward on this show. Mm-hmm. We're all fighting for Jacob.
Right, we don't have somebody sitting on the couch going, no, guys, this is why Edward's great.
Yeah.
Because he has no redeeming qualities in my mind, especially in this movie. Let's just start off. Yeah. The notes, you know what? We all have our notes, obviously, and I don't want people to be discouraged and turn this off immediately just because we said we hate it, because we're still going to discuss it.
Well, absolutely.
But I hate it so much. So let's get into it. I really don't have many notes because the whole time I just kept saying how much I hated this movie.
There's just it doesn't have a lot of redeeming qualities, and it was just a separating Breaking Dawn into two movies. Didn't need to do it.
Really did not need to do it.
They could have shortened Part 1 drastically. Everything that happened in Part 1 could happen in 40 minutes.
Yeah, we just didn't need a whole movie about Bella being pregnant.
Yeah.
An entire 2 and however many hours this was. I started off by saying poor Charlie and her mom find out about the wedding through a mailed invite.
Yep.
Bella hates her parents so much that they found out about the wedding through a mailed invitation. The mom's
look, my daughter's getting married.
Yeah, the mom's it's actually happening. Okay. My next note was, where has Ashley Greene been? Just in life.
Oh, just in life now, currently?
Yeah, where is she?
I've had that thought many times, and I do think it was discussed more when there was a time when... Did Joe Jonas date Ashley Greene at a time? Am I making that up?
I don't know.
Or I might be making that up. But I actually saw, I don't know if you saw this, but Glenn Powell posted on his Instagram this big trip party. I don't even know. It was there was 30 plus people. Looked amazing. I don't know where they were. It's he said it was camp. It just seemed like camp for adults. But there was just trickled in famous people that were there. And Ashley Greene was one of them. Because her comment was the first thing that popped up on my Instagram when I saw it. That she was great time. And I was wow. Oh yes, they did date. Oh, and apparently he lost his virginity to her. Is what the people think. I forgot about that.
I guess we'll never know for sure.
But I don't really know what is currently happening with her.
I wrote too scared to watch this alone, because this was the first one I watched alone, and it was scary for a little bit, but then it wasn't scary. So that was early on. Bella looks way too sad walking down the aisle. Just
some very similar notes.
It was just, somber.
Yep.
Bella was happier to see Jacob at the wedding more than anybody else. What, the reaction that this woman has when Jacob is around is unlike any other.
Yeah.
She's happy, she's giddy, she's full of life. Having a slow dance with another boy at your wedding that's in love with you is so inappropriate.
I had a similar note.
What the fuck was that?
Yeah.
No?
I agree.
Crazy.
I agree. I don't know. In some areas, Edward's a little too chill. And then he's very high strung about other things. And then but it should be switched. He should be,
I mean, I get what Edward's trying to do. He's trying to be nice, and he knows that they have a connection. And he's here's a little surprise for you. This other guy you love. Now dance with him at our wedding.
It's just
weird.
it just feels very weird. Losing your virginity in the water has to be awful. Thank God they moved to the bed.
Yeah, no.
I was really happy they took it from the water to the bed. Losing your virginity in an ocean, it just doesn't.
He would have drowned her.
It just wouldn't.
Probably.
Goes back to do they need to breathe underwater?
True.
Vampires.
Yeah.
How would you prepare to become a vampire if you knew you were about to become one?
That's a good question.
I feel like it's like when you go into surgery before you get put under. That's kind of what you're nervous, but you're like excited.
Yeah, I feel like how sometimes
you're alone with your thoughts, but
you know how sometimes when you get like a paper cut or something, and it's just like you don't really notice it's bleeding, and you just you like put it in your mouth to stop the bleeding. You're like, oh shoot, and you just kind of. I feel like if that would happen, I'd be like, let me get like a better taste. see how I feel about it.
You mean like
of the blood?
Like suck your blood before you become a vampire?
Not your own blood, but I'd be like that would be my biggest thing to be like what's blood really tastes like, you know?
Well, you won't know like when you're a vampire it's going to taste
different,
so much better to
but
you.
I just think curiosity would kill me to be like, I'm going to be drinking this for the rest of my life.
Mine's more like a meditative state, right? Like I need to put myself in the right zone to be turned into a vampire.
I'd have a lot of questions like
come to terms with
what is this going to feel like?
Death
to the vampires. Like is this going to
I think
hurt?
I would just be like I just need to go into this with a peaceful mind so I'm a peaceful vampire.
It is crazy because in reality you're dying.
You're more in like the way that you are turned will then translate into how you are as a vampire.
Right, like I want to be in a peaceful mindset, not a scared mindset.
Yeah.
So that when I am a vampire, maybe it'll be a little bit more peaceful to transition.
Right.
Like
what happened with Rosalie was not like peaceful for her at all.
And you're like, I'll never sleep again.
Yeah.
But you won't need to. So it's
No,
not
I
like...
know, but it's like, damn. Like,
yeah, I'd probably sleep like... I take a really long nap in my bed.
Yeah.
It's really comfortable.
5 more minutes.
I just wrote down thing. When Edward calls the baby a thing. Not a good sign as a father. Just saying. This movie fucking sucks, I wrote. There was a period of time where I just was like, I don't know how anybody liked this movie when it came out.
Yeah, I know.
It's so bad, this one. This one's by far the worst one.
I could have fallen asleep for 30 minutes and not missed anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to the kitchen to make a snack, and I came back, and Bella was still like, just...
I want to have the baby. Don't have the baby. I want to have the baby. That was like...
The only redeeming qualities are just like visually it's better, you know?
Yeah, it just sucks the whole
but
thing.
it's just it's a drawn out movie of just, one thing happens.
I wrote down when she's like, if it's a boy, it'll be EJ. And like, if it's a boy, it'll be Ed. I can't think of anything weirder than imprinting on a baby.
Yeah. I kind of forgot though, like when he does do it, that they're like, he's a friend, a protector, like all this, because there's obviously an element to imprinting that's not fully romantic, which is a different vibe because obviously, like if you imprint on somebody that is like your peer, it like is a romantic thing, but you can imprint on, then it's like a brotherly thing. So
explain to me what imprinting is, because that was one of my notes. I'm very confused. What is imprinting?
So basically it's like, when Renesmee is born or like a baby is born, right? Okay, for example, say I was having a baby, okay? And you are like, I am going to, like Fran said, be a friend, a protector. Like, I'm going to leave my imprint on this baby so this baby is attached to me. Like, when it grows up, it will know that, like, I'm its person. So that's how I would describe it. Maybe that's not the best way.
Imprint? Like physically?
No, it's a wolf thing. Like it's like they just
head?
Yeah, it's a wolf thing where like no matter how you feel, you could be in love with somebody else. That's what happened with the other wolves with Sam, and like that's why there's like that love triangle because he was dating Leah or was with, I guess they had dated, but then he imprinted on the so it was like it's over, like a flash. And like so, you see the person and that's it.
And the other person doesn't have a choice?
Yeah, and you feel like you just feel
unless
like
it depends on.
You feel like a strong gravitational pull to that person. And they said it's a stronger feeling than regular love.
Yeah.
Imprinting on someone is like when you see her, everything changes. That's what Jacob says in Eclipse. So, okay, now this is how did Jacob imprint on Renesmee? When the baby looks in Jacob's eyes, that's Jacob imprinting on her.
Oh.
So it's not like I feel like I know what you're envisioning. Like he's putting like a paw print on her body.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
or like he like bit. Part,
yeah, I think it's just like through like a feeling, like
a
and like
visual
I
thing.
guess
That's why in the whole movie, like all the other wolves are like, oh Jacob, like you just need like maybe you'll imprint on somebody and like then you won't like love Bella anymore.
But it is strange.
There's
it's weird.
no limit. You can imprint on as many people as you want.
No, it's just one.
Oh, it's just one.
One.
You get one per life.
One imprint. Yep.
And he used it on a baby.
It's bizarre.
Well, it's not his choice.
No, but it was his choice.
No, it's not his choice. Your mind just does it.
Oh.
Like you don't see the baby and say like, oh, I'm gonna imprint on that baby.
I thought that's what I took it as. I thought he was like, I'm gonna save this baby.
I don't think so. I think it's just like a subconscious
Then why wouldn't
thing.
he have done that to Bella?
That's what I'm saying. You can't choose who you imprint on.
Oh.
Or else he would have chosen to imprint on Bella.
Interesting.
Like I don't think you can't just like pick who you want to imprint on.
Yeah. Okay, imprinting can't be forced on anyone, no matter how much the shapeshifter may want it, as shown by Jacob when he tried numerous times to imprint on Bella. The same is also true for Leah, who didn't look for someone to imprint on, like Jacob did, but admitted to either wanting to imprint or be imprinted on. Yeah. What would happen if it will? Yeah. So the first stage. Okay, these are the stages of imprinting. The first stage, if the imprintee is young, the shapeshifter will act as an older sibling. So in this case, Jacob will act as an older sibling. Second stage, as the imprintee grows older, they'll become their best friend. Third stage, they become intimate friends.
Okay, that's so
meaning
it's gonna
their
be weird.
Then it
feelings
gets
for
weird.
each other change into romantic feelings. This stage may or may not happen to the imprintee, but the imprinter will fall in love with his imprintee. So Jacob will fall in love with Renesmee.
Oh my
But
god.
And
she
they will
could not love
see
him back,
anybody
possibly.
else.
I hope he's gonna be so old by then.
When the imprintee is old enough, the shapeshifter is going to grow into romantic love.
What's the wolves?
That is bizarre.
It is bizarre. What is
that
the wolves?
it's like, oh, when she turns 18. Like that's like that's what this is.
I know. What
That's
are the
grooming.
wolves like aging
Yeah.
thing? Like do wolves age
I feel like no, right?
the
Like,
same way as vampires?
The dad of all of them seems to be an old man, huh?
Yeah.
Do while in wolf term,
Because they're alive.
No, I know. So it's like
Jacob's body has physically grown to the equivalent of a 25-year-old in Breaking Dawn, but stops aging after that. Jacob will live as long as he keeps phasing, and he won't stop as long as Ren is alive. So technically, he can live forever, but he could also be killed by a vampire, another wolf shifter, or Ren could die by one of those, and Jacob would stop phasing and then die of old age.
So if he continues to phase into a wolf, he stays the same age, or physically.
If they quit phasing, they age.
Interesting. I'm really learning a lot right now.
Yes,
This is kind of
confusing.
like a very educational episode on how this goes.
What does that mean, phasing into a wolf?
I think
though?
just changing.
Okay, as was stated by
could
Stephanie
stop changing.
Meyer, as was stated by Stephanie Meyer in the book Eclipse, Jacob is not aging. So he is in fact going to be the same as long as he keeps changing into a wolf. Okay. Then once he stops, he'll continue aging like a normal man. Jacob's aging process will slow with Renesmee's since he imprinted on her. Huh.
Weird.
I feel like that's Stephanie Meyer's way of trying to make it seem less creepy.
It's definitely super weird, the imprinting stuff.
Yeah, it is.
If you think about anything in Twilight too much, it gets really weird.
Yeah,
it
no,
does.
for sure.
Right. It's
For sure.
surface level.
It's really like you're not meant to dig deep, you know?
Yeah.
My last note was just, I hate this movie.
Yeah.
I immediately knew my grade. Like,
Yeah.
The other ones, like, you can, like, you know, find the meaning of it and be like, yeah, there's good parts, there's bad parts. This one,
Yeah, no.
genuinely throw it in the trash. Like, throw Breaking Dawn Part 1 away.
Really was unneeded. This fall, you can start speaking a new language with Babbel. Why Babbel? Because it works. Instead of paying hundreds of dollars for a private tutor or fooling yourself with language apps that are little more than games, Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons are designed by over 150 language experts to help you start speaking a new language in as little as 3 weeks. Babbel is designed by real people for real conversations. All of Babbel's tips and tools for learning a new language are approachable, accessible, rooted in real-life situations, and delivered with conversation-based teaching. Studies from Yale, Michigan State University, and others continue to prove Babbel is better. For instance, one study found that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a full semester at college. With over 10 million subscriptions sold, Babbel is real language learning for real conversations. Here's a special limited time deal for our listeners to get you started right now. Get 55% off your Babbel subscription, but only for our listeners at babbel.com/chicks. Get 55% off at babbel.com/chicks, spelled BABBEL.com/chicks. Rules and restrictions may apply. Okay. My first thought was positive. Two positive thoughts. Thank God her hair looks better in this one. Her hair looks so much better, not in the wig. That was a disaster. Everybody also has a little more coloring in this movie. Everybody's not as pale. Even the vampires have like a little more coloring. It's just a little less alarming. I completely forgot about Edward killing murderers and predators. I forgot that was like a thing he did. And just like any character development of Edward, I really forgot about. I'm laughing thinking about getting married at 18. And then I wrote the quote, "Don't let me fall, Dad." And he said, "Never." And I said, "Charlie's my favorite character."
Poor Charlie.
I know. I wrote, "She is in physical pain walking down the aisle."
She hated it so much.
Hated it. Heavy wedding kiss makeout. Like they kiss for a long time up there. Wouldn't be my style. Just like a long kiss. Kellen Lutz really did not have to do much. Like I feel like every other character and every other Cullen in the movies, the books were different, but in the movies had like a little flashback, or like you learn about Jasper, you learned about Alice was more of a character. He really was just the brawn, and that was it.
He was just there. He was just the jock.
He was just the strong guy.
Yeah.
I wrote, Jacob really tried to set some boundaries and failed. Every time, like it started off in the earlier movies with him being like, yeah, like if you're dead to me, like if you become a vampire, I'll never see you again. To like, oh, like maybe I'll see you, to like, I'm never going to a wedding, to I'll go to your wedding, to like, oh, now you're married, and I'll still see you.
We're going to dance at your wedding.
And he's like mad that they're going to like,
and then like
she's
still going to turn him into a vampire, but I'll still protect you. Like he really tried to like set those rules, and just it all went to shit. Jacob is pissed about the sex. That wedding fight when he's like, you're gonna kill her. It's like,
just such a
whoa.
weird.
It was just like, all right,
yeah,
calm down.
Bella was really nuts to want her first time to be with a vampire. Like your first time is scary as it is, let alone having it be with a vampire who could truly crush you in a very small spot of your body, you know?
Also, like even when they were in bed and he like broke the wall off,
Yeah.
or whatever,
Yeah, I
she's
was
like,
like,
it's okay. It's like,
holy
is
shit.
it?
No, I know. I mean, not to be graphic, but like, you know, who knows what could happen to her reproductive organs down there? Like,
Right. That vampire thing.
yeah, right. That I just wrote,
What's he packing?
yeah,
That vampire.
rock hard all the time, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
Is he?
I mean, just
Yeah.
to the touch, isn't he
right.
like hard?
Yeah, I guess so.
Skin-wise.
Vampire wise, yeah.
Is he? So like he's probably really cold.
Yes.
No, I mean like they're in bed and like is he like, oh, like I'd be like, oh, like, you know?
Oh yeah, I mean,
Oh, I need a blanket.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you know when someone touches you and they're cold and
Yeah.
Yeah. They really did some damage to that bedroom.
Like Bella might be cold.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm saying, like Bella's probably like freezing, like
Yeah.
like
So
up
many
against
different
it.
elements to make it a little crazy in there.
Yeah. How long are they on this honeymoon that she's pregnant instantly? I kind of
That
forgot
was
how like
nuts.
fast it all happens, you know, like the vampire pregnancy moves at a different speed.
It must, because it was like the next day she was throwing
She was
up.
like, I can feel something moving inside me. They were like, Edward was like, we've been here for 14 days.
You know, I have this fucked up visual in my head of a vampire sperm swimming. Like,
That's my next note. Not that, but about
like literally, I literally picture a sperm like in a science textbook with
the one that's like
fangs,
ice cold.
with like fangs and bat wings on it.
Here it comes. Just one.
All the other sperm
A
are like,
lone
what the
shooter.
Yeah.
Except I guess it would all be vampire. It would
No,
all be-
Yeah,
like
I mean, I
only
don't-
one
yeah.
escapes. The other
Yeah.
ones are like afraid.
We're not supposed to leave. I wrote vampire semen should really not be viable. Like that should not be a thing. Should not be a thing.
It's just like
Like it just doesn't make any sense.
it
He's
doesn't.
dead.
And also like
It logically makes no sense. I
They-
mean, so many of this obviously it's vampire, it's mega, like whatever. It's fiction. But like if we're going with vampires are dead, they should not have viable
Dead
semen.
sperm.
and
Yeah.
also they've all been around for hundreds, thousands of years or whatever. Like this, and they've never seen this. This has never happened.
Yeah. Only in really bad ways, apparently. Then I wrote rapid pregnancy actually terrifying. Like she is mega pregnant within a matter of weeks.
She looked bad.
Yeah, no, it's hard. Honestly, that also is why this movie. The movie's just hard to watch. Like visually, it's hard to watch.
She was a cute pregnant lady though.
Yeah, I wrote obviously the baby wants blood. Silly they didn't think of that sooner. Like that was like a big epiphany that the baby would want blood. Like they should have. Come on, people, use your brains.
You didn't think she was kind of cute sometimes when they were like holding her
yeah,
up?
like when her
Kristen
back
Stewart?
is breaking.
Yeah,
Kristen
no, that's when she
Stewart?
looked the cutest.
She looks like she's dying.
When she
Yeah.
drops to the ground and they like immediately have to rush her in, she looked really cute right before that.
You know, it's nice that
I
she.
don't think so.
I do appreciate her gung ho attitude about it, though. You know, like as an 18-year-old, she had
She's just
not an ounce of hesitation.
let's be honest. She just wants to die. I think. Like
I just think
in general.
No, I mean, well, she wants to be a vampire, but
But she's just like way too ready to go. She's like, yeah.
Do you think it would be easier to raise a vampire baby or harder? It's definitely harder to have one. Clearly, from what
Harder
we've
because
seen.
they're up all the time. They're not sleeping
it's
ever.
got to be harder. Yeah, you're on the clock all the time.
But they have
Doesn't
special
she like
powers.
age fast? Also, am I making that up?
Well, yeah,
Renesmee,
all of a
doesn't she,
sudden,
like-
all of a sudden she's like in her 20s.
Isn't she like a toddler? Like immediately when Breaking Dawn 2
It
starts.
would make sense because she grew in her stomach so fast.
Yeah, I honestly I forget. We'll have to find out when we watch part 2. Also wrote, poor Charlie, sad face, doesn't deserve this treatment.
Mm-hmm.
That phone call when he's like, just come home. And she's like, I'm in Switzerland or wherever the
So
hell.
I'm going to med school in Switzerland.
yeah, I'm going to a
Bitch, no, you're not.
Yeah, no.
You're a monster, girl.
She's going to a hospital. She's going to a treatment center.
Yeah. You know when someone said, like, who called it a monster? Somebody was like, you're a monster. It's
Probably
no,
Jacob.
no. Jacob was like, "What? I'm not like the right type of monster for you, or something."
no. Somebody
talking about
called
the
like the
baby.
baby like a monster.
It had to have been Jacob. No, maybe it might have been Edward.
No, Edward called it a thing.
I think Edward had not a lot
Edward
of
was
nice.
like, we need to get that thing out of
Edward
you.
had not a lot of nice things to say.
No, Edward was like so not a supportive husband or father in this movie.
Yeah, he was like, "I'm not gonna like you. If you die, like I'm not gonna like this thing."
Yeah.
He was, yeah.
I mean, hey, that's that's people go through that. That's like a real thing. They were really sure this baby was a boy. Forgot about that. They were so positive this baby was a boy the whole time.
He can hear you,
Yeah.
little Ed.
Little EJ. I hate this birthing scene so much. I had to like close my eyes. I just ugh. The CGI Renesmee faces laugh out loud bad. That kills me every
So
time I
bad.
see it. The CGI face on the baby is just the worst
bad.
thing ever. I don't know, like, who thought that was a good idea? It's so fake looking. It's so bad. I believe I just wrote tough go for Jacob, and I believe that was in terms of the imprinting. That's just the imprinting is tough. Clearly the visual started to get to me. I wrote hate Skeletor. Bella, shield my eyes. It's just
Really hard to watch.
Yeah, it's scary. And my last thought is vampire glam is perfect. Like as soon as she really becomes a vampire and like starts to fill up again,
Yeah.
She gets a beautiful glow, eyeshadow, a little coloring.
lips
Like
became
her
red.
vampire glam. Like, and what is that? Just natural vampire glam?
Yeah.
Like you turn into a vampire, you just look.
That's another
That's
thing.
the
It's like,
vampire-
why do they look
That's
good?
the vampire glow.
Yeah, like all of a sudden she was like dying Skeletor, no makeup, but when she becomes a vampire, she is full glam with beautiful bronze eyeshadow.
Mm-hmm. And cool eyes.
Yeah. That's literally my last note. That's all I had. That was it on me. And then, we got another cliffhanger on this one. Her eyes pop open. Red.
Okay.
Cut to credits.
Just going to go through my notes. This movie is way more colorful. That's my first note.
Same page.
And I'm still like, I'm just over it now because I'm like, nothing logistically makes sense, but I'm like, it's sunny outside. They're all like, I don't think any of their skin sparkled once this whole movie. Like,
I
it doesn't.
actually completely forgot about that.
It's just like, okay, they're just in the sun now.
Yeah.
I like what Edward did with his hair. I think his hair is different.
Yeah.
It was different.
And it's like, that looks better. This is the best that he's looked. He's starting to look like the Robert Pattinson that I know.
Yeah. The Robert Pattinson that I know.
Edward's a murderer, exclamation point. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you murdered a bunch of people like a while back?
Yep.
And obviously she doesn't care.
Yeah. Duh, she loves it.
She's like, they were going to kill the
Yeah,
people.
it's like Stefan Salvatore vibes, when he becomes the Ripper.
Yeah. I can't believe she's actually marrying a vampire. Like,
It's shocking.
it's crazy. Alice, I just had a note that said Alice is annoying. And it was more when she like was like getting, she just seemed like, it's just like, she couldn't shut up about the wedding, and like she's really excited about the wedding.
Somebody needed to be excited.
I know, but
God,
it's just
even
like-
Bella
somebody had
wasn't
that
excited.
energy.
I know, but I'm like, this doesn't seem vampire-like. Like, why are you so happy?
She's a happy vampire.
Yeah.
There's got to be one in the
Yeah.
group.
Look at how
She's
they had
fine. It was just
they
that,
had
like-
those relatives come from out of town.
They were hot.
They seemed happy.
All the blondies.
the cousins.
Yeah.
How is the dad letting her marry Edward? Like, I guess he can't. He just has no control
He
over
has
anything.
no control.
But
Yeah,
it's like-
I mean, she's 18. Like, he can't really
Yeah.
do anything.
But it's like he's seen her.
he hasn't had control once.
And it's just like the fact that all these people are just okay with like these 18-year-olds like getting married. It's very weird.
I mean, the only person that had a problem was Anna Kendrick. Not had a problem, but she was like, she's got to be pregnant.
Yeah.
I am always trying to do right by my body, so when it comes to my hair and scalp health, finding a product that actually works and is made with clean ingredients always seems like a trade-off. But with Vegamore, I get products that are made with clean ingredients and give me visibly healthy hair and scalp. With Vegamore, we are able to have visibly thicker, fuller, shinier, longer hair, all without the harsh ingredients. Every cute pink bottle of Vegamore products are 100% cruelty-free and are never formulated with potentially harmful chemicals like parabens or hormones. What's even better is Vegamore's value kits like the GRO Essentials Kit, where you get to try more than one amazing product at great savings. When you sign up for a monthly subscription, you save more and you never run low on the products you need to take care of your hair. The key is consistency in your routine for your most beautiful, healthy looking hair. Give your hair the power of the little pink bottle with Vegamore. For a limited time, Chicks in the Office listeners get 20% off their first order by going to Vegamore.com. That's VEGAMOUR.com/chicks and use code CHICKS at checkout. That's VEGAMOUR.com/chicks. Use code CHICKS to save 20% off your first order. That's VEGAMOUR.com/chicks. Code CHICKS.
I like the wedding venue.
Very pretty, yes.
I don't know if they had all the stuff to like block the sun or whatever, but it looked very cool. Was that in their backyard? Like, I don't know.
I think so, yes.
Yeah. I said this was just like a thought that I had. Instead of starting a life together, they're ending a life together.
Wow. That's deep.
That's deep.
That is deep.
Yeah. Is Edward gonna just keep pretending to go to school now that he's married? Like, how does that work? Like, I still don't
I
understand.
think he'll stop now. I think he's going to
But,
give
like,
the school thing
also-
a break.
This goes back to the
But
beginning
also,
of
they
the
were
movies.
graduating.
But he's been this age forever, so it's like, how do they not be like, Edward, you're back? You're back again? Like, every year?
Well, they don't live in the same place.
So they move towns every year?
I think like every few years. I think they can make
I
it
guess
through
like every
high
4
school,
years,
4
like,
years.
Yeah. And they're just like, oh, you don't really age, huh?
You know?
It's hard to not try to like think about how things work.
Yeah, it's just
And then
like it's like I
there's no
said, it's
answer.
just not one of those movies. It's not one of those franchises you can think about in that way.
Works better in the books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is
fantasy.
Why is Anna Kendrick giving a speech at the wedding? Like, is she on that level, like of friendship?
I had the same thought. I was like, they keep pretending like Anna Kendrick is Bella's best friend.
Like I'm like she's
They
lucky to be
barely speak.
I
invited.
feel like she has no friends. That's why it was
Also-
like there's nobody on her side that would.
Yeah.
You know.
It seemed like there were way too many people talking at the wedding, like up there. Like, isn't it? It's like maids of honor, the best man, the best men, best man, the parents.
That's normal.
There were like
but,
a ton
you
of
know,
people talking.
Maybe they wanted more people to talk.
I just had all caps exclamation point Jacob when he showed up.
You're like, you're the girls in the movie
I
theater
am,
when it
though.
first
Yeah.
premiered.
It's hard not to get giddy.
Yes. So true.
And then I just wrote, I wouldn't really want my brand new wife dancing alone with a werewolf in the woods at my wedding.
Totally
Preach.
understandable.
Like, just seems like I honestly kind of respected Edward because it's like, oh, he's trying to do something nice, but it's like more Bella's fault. It's like, what are you doing?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Edward's being nice. Bella, why are you doing
It's
it?
just
Yeah.
like, thank you so much for coming.
And he's like, can I dance?
Please
Like-
enjoy the buffet, have a drink, and
Yeah.
I would love to talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah.
And when he lifted her up and spun her around, oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yep.
You might as well have been naked.
Yeah.
Okay. Then,
I love that dance move, by the way. I mean, it's not like a move, but because they're so strong, just like that effortless like lift and twirl.
Yeah.
Like, damn, that's nice.
I kind of skipped over. I don't have any notes like for the whole like him being mad about the sex thing. I just kind of skipped over that. But notes. But
yeah.
my next note was, where did he get a boat? Like he was just like all of a sudden like he's just on a boat. Like they're in another country. He's on
Yeah.
a boat like at night. I guess he's lived a long life. so he
Clearly,
knows
they have a lot of money. I was thinking that
Yeah.
too when they were
he
leaving.
owns an island.
When they were leaving the honeymoon, and it was just like pulling up to a PJ, and I was like,
Yeah.
you know,
I guess
the
his dad's a
Cullens
doctor.
Really,
Yeah,
I
well, their
just-
house is so
you know, they
nice,
lived
too.
for so
Also, yeah,
long.
you
they
work
just
for hundreds of years, you
Yeah,
just
you just
build up the
accumulate. You know,
Invest in stuff.
Because-
They've invested like Apple. Like
Yeah.
when it
yeah,
started.
yeah. I mean, this the property that they stay at on the honeymoon like is in the family or something, right? Like, so clearly they have it figured out.
The sex scene is way too long. That was one of my notes. I'm like, this is just
Yeah,
going on
it's
for
just
too long.
like- There's just so many cringe, and it's supposed to be cringe. I get that. Like, she's awkward, you know, but just the awkwardness that then goes directly into the pregnancy, into like the bod. Like, it's just all like a lot.
Yeah. And then I said, so is this whole movie just their honeymoon? And then it's crazy because there's only like 4 notes after that where it's like, that just shows nothing happened after this.
Yeah,
Like,
that's why it was a struggle to get notes down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she gets pregnant.
She goes on a honeymoon. They have their wedding, goes on a honeymoon, gets pregnant. That's the movie.
Yeah.
That could have been summed up
Wedding,
in
honeymoon,
15 minutes.
sex, pregnancy, baby's
Yeah.
born. That's Breaking Dawn
That
part
could,
one.
that could have been 30 minutes of a movie.
That's what I said. 40. Literally, I think they could have done that all in 40 minutes and had Breaking Dawn be
Like 2.5 hours.
like 2.5 hours. Yeah.
Will the dad ever find out they're vampires? Like, or is he just gonna go on forever? Like, he seems to be the only one who like he's just oblivious to everything.
Yeah. Poor Charlie.
I said the werewolf voices are really funny. Like, I didn't know that they like. Is that in their minds?
I think
or
so.
like
yeah.
their mouths weren't moving, but
Yeah.
it
Well, yeah,
sounded,
it's
like,
obviously
so,
in their minds.
Yeah.
They can.
But it sounded so like I wish it was just their normal voice. It was just like
I'm the grandson of blah, blah. I'm the grandson of blah 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 black and.
I said this is all just so weird. I don't even remember what point that was in.
Just probably all of it.
Just any
ending
part in the last
mostly.
45 minutes, I would
Yeah.
imagine.
Oh yeah, it was probably
The birth giving.
the birth giving.
Yeah.
And then I just said I'm very confused about imprinting, and that's where I left off. My
Yeah.
notes.
Just the worst out of the group. Like by
Yeah,
far the
I
worst
think.
movie.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm gonna clock mine in at a 1.8.
Wow.
Woo! Love it.
Like that's how much I disliked
Love
this
it.
movie.
What's the
Rotten
Rotten
Tomatoes?
Tomato score of this movie? It's got to be
I'm
bad,
gonna guess
right?
26, maybe 30s.
Breaking Dawn Part 1.
25. I was one off.
25.
How does it have a better score than Couples Retreat? Like, that's what I'm wondering.
I will give it a 3.2.
I'll give it a 1.5.
Yeah.
Just yeah.
It was
It's
just
terrible. Like
it
if
was
I'm
just
just
that
actually
bad.
thinking about it, like because I'm watching it kind of being like making fun of it, and this is
Yeah,
so
yeah.
ridiculous. But if I'm like went into this wanting to see a good movie, I'd be like, this is awful.
I'd be pissed.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Oh,
Yeah, it's unfortunate
man.
because it's just like Breaking Dawn as a whole, like connected. Part 1 and part 2, like it makes sense. But separating them into 2 movies did them no favors because the first half is just
Right.
there's just not anything like plot wise to drive it besides she has a baby, which obviously is a big thing in the grand scheme of things.
Honestly,
but
we should have just lumped the 2 movies together and made it one episode.
We
instead
should,
of,
right.
like, doing separate ones.
yeah,
But I think we needed its time to say how bad it was.
yeah, it deserves it for sure.
When I went to watch it, I was like, I don't really remember what happens. And then as it started going, I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
This is all coming back to me. She's just pregnant. It's just about her being pregnant the entire movie. Nothing happens. They're in the house.
Yep.
Her being pregnant the whole time.
The dad
I think
is just
that's
like-
also why
There's not even villains in this one.
I know.
There's not even a villain.
I think
villain,
that's also
yeah.
why this one wasn't as enjoyable to rewatch because as soon as it starts, you immediately remember everything that happens. Like there wasn't really any moments where I was like, oh shit, I forgot about that. Like maybe a couple like tiny things, but the visuals of this movie are ingrained in my brain.
Yeah.
Like the wedding, the sex, the back breaking pregnancy moment, and the CGI baby face are those like I have never forgotten those scenes.
Right. The sad part about this is that because we have gone back and rewatched, we now don't remember it as good as we once did. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like we once remembered Twilight in such a high regard,
Yeah.
and now going back and rewatching it.
But I feel like it's like
I don't
just
know.
anything.
And I feel like it's still. I've never necessarily thought of them as like amazing. Like I just love the story. Like I still will love Twilight, and like that has a very special place. And it is a phenomenon. It's a cultural phenomenon, you know, so you can love it for that, like for its cultural significance. But some of the actual movies themselves are
Right.
just
like you're not going back and watching Breaking Dawn Part 1 ever again.
no.
Like maybe New Moon,
Yeah.
Eclipse, maybe even the first one.
Yeah.
This one?
I can say with certainty I will never be rewatching.
Yeah.
All right, we'll end on that
That
note.
wraps it up. I'm breaking
Yeah.
down part 1.
Right, we'll end on that note. Thank you guys for following along, and you know the last one
We'll be back for
is
part
coming
2.
up. We
Will
are
be on
coming back.
Tuesday.
The next one will be on Tuesday.
Halloween.
Halloween. Well,
Halloween.
let's just throw out a Halloween day. That
Yeah.
feels
Halloween
like
day.
Halloween
Spooky.
day.
The next one will be on Halloween day. Thanks for following along.